All right, here's something happening right now that deserves a lot of attention, even though it's not trending at all. A lot of states aren't passing flashy new laws at the moment. Instead, they're changing how existing laws are enforced, especially around immigration, protests, and public assembly. And those enforcement changes, guys, can matter just as much as legislation can. In several states right now, law enforcement agencies are expanding cooperation with federal authorities, not through votes or public debate, but through administrative decisions. That means more data sharing, more joint task forces, and more discretion handed to officers on the ground, often without public oversight at all. And at the same time, states are quietly tightening how protest related laws are applied. They're not banning protests outright, but they are broadening definitions of things like obstruction, unlawful assembly, or, well, failure to disperse. And when those definitions get looser, enforcement becomes, well, subjective now, doesn't it? That's where civil liberties start to get tested. And guys, this matters because enforcement is where policy becomes real life. Laws on paper don't detain people, don't arrest people, or chill out speech. Enforcement does. For example, we're already seeing broader use of immigration detainers and data sharing agreements that don't require new legislation. Local law enforcement can now pass along information that leads to immigration enforcement actions, even when someone hasn't been convicted of a serious crime. That's not a new law, that's just a change in how discretion is used. Another example is protest enforcement. In some states now, people have been arrested or cited not for violence, but for things like standing in the roadway for too long, refusing immediate disperse, or being labeled part of an unlawful assembly because of the actions of, others nearby. Same protest laws as before, different enforcement thresholds. See how that works? We've also been seeing expanded use of surveillance tools, license plate readers, drones, and social media monitoring, all justified under existing authority. No new vote, no big announcement, just broader application of tools that already exist. And here's the key point, guys. None of this requires Congress. None of this requires a headline vote. These are decisions that are made by agencies, governors' offices, and law enforcement leadership, often framed as efficiency or public safety. So whether you're talking about immigrants, protesters, or just regular people exercising their rights, the question is not only what is legal, it's who decides how the law is applied now and how much discretion they're given. Especially with Donald Trump in office now. The expansion of executive and enforcement power at the state and federal level is something worth watching very, very closely, regardless of party. You don't have to panic about it. You don't have to exaggerate it, but you do need to pay attention to it because rights aren't usually taken away all at once. That would be too obvious even for the dumb ones. So they're narrowed quietly through enforcement choices most people never even know about. That's why this matters.